Drove all the way down here for this, and it never occurred to me that the beginning of the trail could be fucking washed out because of this madness that's happening. I'm being very Jen about it. Like, could I go on a non-trail just to get around this part? Because I think everything else is higher than this. I want my way. Because then it goes over to the waterfall. See, so the waterfall's right there. The water's really high. It's just this. I think I'm gonna Jen it. So I went up, and now I'm gonna try to see if I can't go right enough. It's very wet and slippery. I'd really rather not slide right down there into the water and get carried over the falls, but I mean, it's not a possibility. Okay, this might not be the best idea, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's my worst idea. So I'm crossing this tree trunk here. I have my phone in my hand because it fell out of my pocket, and the only reason it didn't fall downhill is because it's plugged into a charger in my backpack. So now it has to be in my hand. Okay. There we go. How close are we to passing that? Not close. I'm up against the mountain, so I figure the further I am away from the slidey part, the better. And, you know, I make questionable decisions in life. But like with everything equally, so. At least there's that. The amusement park is at the top. I should just like, doesn't it look like right there? I could just bloop right up there. I mean, I'm right here, I should check. I did bloop right up there. There's another one though. I know there's a road that comes down from the amusement park, so I can just take the road out and figure out where my car is. I'm hoping I come to a trail at some point, because there's no going back down now. I feel like because of the lightness of my coat, I'm visible from the other side of the parking lot. I know it's hard to see right here, but like where I was earlier is the parking lot for the falls, and there was a ranger over there. I didn't see him though. And I am parked in the parking lot for this trail, so I guess you gotta catch me. Okay, I got to the very top. It's flat. So I just have to keep the river to my right, the falls to my right, and not get lost in the woods before I find the ghost town. I put my compass on my wrist so I know which direction to keep going. I really would rather not get lost in the woods. Although I have a lot of day ahead of me before it's super concerning. And yeah, that's it. Just sitting around in the woods on no trail, hoping I don't get lost. Generally in state parks and national parks, I am a aggressive rule follower. And I'm 100% sure what got in me. Well, I drove down here to see the ghost town, and I'm not missing it for a second time. Period, the end. I had to go up more, but look what I found. Can this be a sign that the ghost town amusement park is up ahead? I don't know. It's definitely something though. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Excuse my breathlessness, but I just did the thing. I see structures through there. Holy fuck, did I manage to stumble on this? I can't believe I just raw dog climbed the side of a mountain because my trail was washed out and I wanted to find a ghost town and I stumbled upon it. Earlier this morning, I woke up and I had my sweatshirt on that said, "Be afraid and do it anyway." Yep. Be afraid and do it anyway. So there's a lot of YouTube tours of this area and a lot of information online. There's even a Wikipedia page. But this was Six Gun City, and prior to that it was Tombstone Junction. So there's not a lot of information on Six Gun City, but there's a lot on Tombstone Junction. And I'm going to just read some of it so you kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. Tombstone Junction was a western town-themed park, and keep in mind we're in the Cumberland Falls area of Kentucky, and it started operating in the 1960s, but it was damaged by fire. And if you wait till you get to the end of the tour here, you can still see some remnants of some of the buildings that were damaged by fire. They had 2 fires, one in 1989, and then they continued to operate still, or with some limited operation, but then they had a second fire in 1991, and it completely destroyed the whole park. So they had a small western frontier town with a train station and a working train. They had a working saloon, a dance hall, jailhouse, some shanties and some shops, and then an outdoor amphitheater that had some live shows with like country and western music. Their summer concert series being their big draw, with stars like Dolly Parton and Johnny Cash performing during their peak years. So Tombstone Junction actually developed from the tourist railroad attraction in the area called the Cumberland Falls Scenic Railroad back in the 60s. They even had a fully operational standard gauge steam train. There's some really cool pictures of it. This old number 77 locomotive pulling into Tombstone Junction that you can find online. Passengers would board at the station. The train had a self-contained loop through the falls and the hills, and they got a tour. It made a 180-degree turn that was really tight and could be somewhat problematic. And then at the halfway point, the train had a train robbery where it was stopped by bandits who would rob the train until the Tombstone Junction sheriff rode up. It all sounds very cool. But with multiple fires and a struggling economy, they did have to close in 1991. So Six Gun City had the buildings on the closer side, with the buildings that I went through first. And they started their operations in the 70s and 80s as a smaller Wild West style amusement park. There's not a lot of information about Six Gun City online. They had some staged gunfights. They had themed buildings like a saloon and general store. They did offer live entertainment also. There's not a ton of information about exact opening and closing dates, although it looks like it remained active into the 90s. But the structures that remained are the structures of Six Gun City. Tombstone Junction is mostly gone, with the exception of some of those remnants that were burned that you can see on the far end. I saw some really great photos of Six Gun City from the fall of 2023, but the changes that have happened in just the year and a half since then were really dramatic, and I was really determined to see the remnants before there was nothing left to see. I've been there before and I've hiked around them. I didn't know that just at the top of this mountain was a really cool former amusement park, and the idea of having this themed amusement park at the top of this mountain, it was just fascinating, and it was something I just couldn't miss out on.